Okay, just broke up the video a little bit. Now we're going to do division. So division, let's take, before we jump into a crazy problem, what if we had something like, 3/7 divided by 1/2? How do we do that without a calculator? Well, if you remember, you keep the first fraction as is, and then you multiply by the reciprocal of the second one. So you would do 3/7 times, you flip the second one, 2/1. And then you multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6, 7 times 1 is 7, and you tell me the answer is 6/7. Okay, so we're going to apply what we do with arithmetic to these rational expressions here. So just like with multiplying, I encourage you to factor first. Okay, so we're dividing. That means when we get here, we're going to multiply and then flip these two to get the reciprocal, but let's take it one step at a time. So our first numerator, we're looking for factors of 10 that add to 7. And so hopefully you would tell me that's a plus 5, a plus 2. Can't do anything with the a minus 6. Now follow me here. I'm dividing, so I have to multiply by the reciprocal. So to save myself on some writing, my new numerator is going to be a squared minus 36. That's difference of perfect squares. That factors into a minus 6, a plus 6. My new denominator is now a plus 5. I'm pretty sure you can follow what I just did, I'm hoping. If not, rewind it and just watch it one more time or ask me a question. So now, hey, we're multiplying. The important part to remember here is you can only simplify when you have the multiplication introduced. So back up here, you cannot simplify with division. It has to be in the multiplication step to be able to do that. So keep that in mind. So let's look. Oh, we got an a plus 5 and an a plus 5. We have an a minus 6 and an, an a minus 6. So what's really left in the denominator is 1. But what's anything divided by 1? It's just that number or that term. So I don't really have to write over 1. But I'll write it and then simplify it. So in your numerator, you have a plus 2 times a plus 6. Remember, that's all over 1. So I do want you to write that as just a plus 2 times a plus 6. You didn't have to write this step. This is just so that you really see that you have a 1 left. And that's your answer. You do not have to FOIL that out. All right, let's go to the next one, 8. So we keep the first one. You can't FOIL that, factor or anything, and then I multiply by the reciprocal of the second. So that means a is going to the numerator, a minus 2 is going to the denominator. And there's no factoring to do in this case. The a minus 2 cross out. Remember, this is a monomial, a times b, so that means this a and this a can in fact cancel. Again, it's a monomial here, not a binomial, meaning there's no subtraction or addition in between them, it's multiplication. So because everything canceled out in the numerator, remember when items and terms cancel out, you're left with 1. It's not 0, so it's 1 divided by what's left in the denominator, b, 1 over b. Number 9. Okay, same deal here. I want to try to factor. Again, I would encourage you to rate that second piece over 1 just so you remember what you're doing. So your first numerator, factors of 2 that add to 3. I hope you're going to tell me x plus 2, x plus 1. Can't do anything with the 4x. I am dividing, so I need to change it to multiplication, and I need to flip the second fraction. So that means the 1 is now going to be in the numerator, and the 5x squared plus 5 is now in the denominator. But what can you take out of these two terms? Hopefully you're going to tell me a 5x. So if I take a 5x out of a 5x squared, you're left with x. And if I take a 5x out of itself, you're just left with 1. Okay, so let's see what can cancel out here. The x plus 1, I guess that's it. So now I multiply across. X plus 2 times 1 is x plus 2. And then 4x times 5x. Some people might be like, well, why can't I just leave that? You told me I could leave all the other binomials and I didn't have to FOIL. Well, because those are two monomials, and we do expect you to multiply those out to get one single term. So 4 times 5 is 20. X times x is x squared. No, those x's do not cancel because the numerator is part of a binomial. Same deal with the 2 and the 20. This 2 is part of the binomial. They do not cancel out. That's your answer. 2 more. Just some people were asking for more examples, so I kind of upped my examples here in the videos. So we're dividing. So again, the first one can't do anything. So I multiply, put that one over 1, by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So that means the 1 is now in the numerator, and I'll say negative 15x to the 5th is in the denominator. Okay, so this is one where you have just monomials everywhere. There's no binomials or trinomials, so it's just a matter of can you simplify. This actually goes back, to the exponent unit. We did ones like this, believe it or not. So here we are. So 3 goes into itself once. 3 goes into negative 15 negative 5 times. So I multiply across. 1 times x cubed times 1 is x cubed. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10 x to the 5th. Now you're almost done in this case. You could have done it up here, but I thought this might be better for some people to see who are struggling with this review. If I have base over a base, if you look back to your exponent unit notes, you subtract your exponents. So I do 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. I'm going to write it in the bottom as x squared. Remember where another trick was where the bigger number is, that's where your answer goes. And you're left with a 1 on top. That's kind of a review question. Number 11, same deal. We're going to try to factor your numerator. Factors of negative 15 to give you negative 2. I'm going to say 5 and 3. I'm going to need a negative 3 and a positive 5 to make that a positive 2. Denominator, factors of 20 to give you 9. Hopefully you're going to say 5 and 4. X plus 5, x plus 4. And then again, I'm going to write that over 1 to really hit home that when I multiply by the reciprocal, the 1 goes in the numerator, the x minus 3 goes in the denominator. So the x plus 5s, 1 on top, 1 on bottom. You got an x minus 3 and an x minus 3. So all you're left with in your numerator is 1, and in your denominator is x plus 4. And that is it.